Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Thank you for being with us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and leave a comment if something we said is encouraging you or helping you as a parent. We'd like to make more of these videos, so let us know if you're watching. We've been doing a series at church called Culture, Way of Life, and we've been talking about how to change the culture in our homes and our life. Maybe you're not a parent. Hopefully this conversation helps you. So one of the things Pastor did a few weeks ago is he ended his sermon and he gave us a chance to where we could ask questions and he would sit down with us and answer them. So the first question I have for you that I want to ask you is, why'd you start this series? What led you to walk us through these weeks? What has been happening in your life that you felt you needed to share this with us?
The reason I shared this series is because I myself, as a father in my home for many years, had a toxic relationship.
Very toxic.
With you, or my kids. And for the past 2 years, God has led me on a journey. And I think it all started because Caleb and you challenged me at the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020. So it's been 2 years that I've been on this journey of trying to change culture. And one of the things that you and Caleb encouraged me or challenged me and says, you will never be able to change the culture of the church if you do not change the culture, you personally, with the staff and at home.
Wow, they're so smart.
So this is the reason it has taken me 2 years, because I didn't want to start teaching something that I have not been trying to practice it's taken me 2 years to try to practice all these things and little by little implement them in my life as a person, as a father, as a pastor. So not only am I trying to change this culture in my home, I wish I would have started sooner with y'all, but it's never too late. It's never too late to start.
All right, so here's some of the questions you guys asked, and we're gonna walk through them. And then I think I would really like if Pastor gave us another opportunity closer to the end of the series to ask more questions. And I really want to encourage you to make sure you're implementing the things Pastor's been teaching us and sharing with us. One of the first questions we got is, what is the best way to take the first steps in asking for forgiveness with our families and with our kids?
The first step is to point blank sit down with your family, with your kids, and ask them for forgiveness. Don't try to create this awe moment. It's just sit down. Obviously, you have to look for a right moment. There's never going to be a perfect moment.
I think what you want to say is you have to create the right moment.
You have to create the right environment, the right moment, and just point blank, be upfront, be sincere, be specific, and be concise with your forgiveness. Don't say, "Hey, I need y'all to forgive me." Be concise and be specific. Hey, I need you to forgive me because sometimes the way I yell at you, the way I treat you, the way sometimes I am with your mom, with you. Be concise and specific exactly what you need to ask for forgiveness. But create the environment and point blank ask for forgiveness from your kids. And I will say this, asking for forgiveness is not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
We have to continue to model. Sadly, we're humans, and we're going to say things and do things that are out of our character, and we're going to have to ask for forgiveness again. I've done it 1,000 things with y'all.
Here's a good question. How do I change the bitterness of my child's heart when growing up in a split household? So it seems like parents got divorced. Maybe one parent comes to church, one doesn't. Different parenting, right? So how can I change my child's bitterness and their heart growing up in a different house?
Well, first of all, thank you for that question. And honestly, that's a difficult situation for that son or daughter. The only thing that I can say is love your child. Love your child. Pray for him. And in this case, you be a better model to your child of how to get rid of bitterness. Don't talk about their dad or their mom. I mean, one of the things when parents separate or when parents are having marital problems, we tend to try to convey or share with their kids Well, your dad is this way, or your mom is that way. Don't speak about your ex-spouse. Do not do that with your child. Don't do it. And pray for them and talk to them. Help them process this bitterness out of their heart. And God is the only one that can bring it out. But don't talk about your ex-spouse. Love on your child and speak with them. Talk with them. Help them process what they're dealing with. Because many times the parents see it, but they never talk about it to help them process it.
There's a saying, and this specifically goes to honoring, but it says, if you see something, say something, right? In a good way. You see your son or daughter being good, express it to them right away. And I think that's exactly what you're saying. All right, here's a really good question that I think will help us. Where do I start? How do I open up? I'm a dad. My dad didn't teach me how to open up. My parents were not talking with me. So how do I start? Help me start. Help me open up.
The way that I would encourage you to start is to sit down with your family and say, look, guys, I don't know how to do this. My parents never did it with me, but I've been hearing Pastor encouraging us that this is important. And for me, our family are important. So I want to go along this journey along with you. Please know that I don't know how to do it, but we need it in our family. So point blank, sit down with your wife, sit down with your kids and say, look, guys, I don't know how to do this, but I want to be open and transparent, and I want to be involved in your lives. I love y'all. I care for y'all. So this is, if God put it in our pastor to share this about changing our culture, more than our pastor, it's God. And I care about our family. So I don't know how to do it. So let's together learn how to do this and start from there.
How do I open up? I don't know how to do it. I feel awkward. I'm nervous. I'm the dad. I'm the husband. And I've never done this before. Help me process this.
Okay. It's going to be awkward. That's the truth. It's going to be awkward. And because you have never done it doesn't mean that you can't learn it. Whatever type of job that you do, I can guarantee you that you didn't know it, but you learned it. When you went to school, you didn't know the ABCs, but you learned it. So we can learn. We can learn. And in this journey is by simply, that's the reason I encourage you, sit down with your kids and ask them these 3 questions. How are you doing? Number 1, how are you doing? How are you really doing? Number 2 is, what's the worst thing that has happened or the most challenging thing that you faced this week? Number 3 is, what's the best thing that you have encountered this week or the best thing that has happened? And then we've been trying to create this culture of honor. Honor is our expressions where we express. If we learn to express honor to our kids little by little, we're opening up by saying good things, positive things, encouraging things, affirming things. So that's how it starts, is just sit down and speak words of encouragement and say, hey, I want to learn how to do this together with y'all. I don't know how to do it, but together we're going to learn. And that's how you start.
That's good. One of the things that we've been wanting to tackle or talk about is people at our church that aren't parents. They're single, they're in college, they're not married yet. So they ask a few questions, which I'm glad you guys are leading into the conversation. Yeah. Is how can I be better for the future of my kids, better than my parent? So right? Someone is here in Galveston, they're in college, they didn't have the best home life. It wasn't a bad home life. And so they're starting to think, okay, yeah, I want to be a better dad. I want to have a better family than mine. How do we start preparing now?
I think that one of the things that helped me is observing my pastor. And in no way am I saying that observe me. I learned that my pastor was a good husband and a good father. And for years, he was my role model. And I said, man, I want to be a good father and I want to be a good husband like him. So what I would encourage a young adult is get around a family that you can learn this culture around. One of the things in our life group, one of the young men went to our life group last night, and it was funny the way he said it, and we took it in a good way. He says, I think he's probably 23 or 24. He says, I wanted to be in a men's life group because I wanted to learn from older older men like y'all. And it was funny, but we took in a good stride because we can learn from others. We can learn from other people's mistakes, but we can also learn from other good habits and other good cultures. So that's what I would say. Get around a family from our church and say, hey, look, I want to learn from your family how, when I have a family of my own, how to create a family. And, you know, maybe your parents were not the best parents, but they had something good that you can learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think we can also learn from mistakes, right?
Yeah. Yes. Let me ask you a question. You share with us, because it wasn't easy. People hear me at church say, but please share with us how the beginning, when we tried to sit down as a family, because we've done it, but it was not easy. We confronted each other, we challenged each other, but you share how we did it.
Yeah, it was weird. It was awkward. Nobody wanted to do it. And everybody was kind of mad at each other to begin with. We're all kind of feisty and loud. That's just kind of the way we are. And so everybody was like, what? No. Like the first maybe year. And it was like super scattered. It wasn't the most consistent thing, but literally after a year and a half of doing it, I think we all were like, okay, this is a thing we do now. And yeah, I remember it being really weird and awkward the first few times, but we kept doing it. I think one of the things is consistency, doing it, even though it sucks, even though it feels weird, even though it's awkward, just keep doing it. Yeah, keep showing up. I think that's super important. Okay, so I'm setting my emotions aside. How do I also, my kid is going out, they're an adult, they're getting drunk, maybe doing drugs, they're dating the wrong people, they're making really bad choices in life. I'm trying to change as a parent. I'm trying to build this better culture. Help me walk through that well.
You know, this is going to be, first of all, I want to commend whoever asked this question. Please know that you are not alone. Please know that God cares about you. God cares about your particular son or daughter.
My dad's making really bad choices, and I have him walk back.
So please know that God cares about you, your son, your daughter. Your son and daughter is not a lost case. So what I would tell him is, number one, pray, continue to pray for your child. Prayer does wonders. Number two, continue to believe that there's hope for your child. Number three, fellowship with your child. And I say this with a lot of respect. Don't preach to your kid. Do not preach to them. Don't condemn them. Don't tell them you're going to go to hell. Don't tell them, you know, I'm embarrassed that you're my son, that you're my daughter. Don't fellowship with them. Love on them. Say positive words to them. One of the guys that recently got baptized, I taught him the growth track. And one of the questions he asked me is, what do I do to get my other kids to come to church? And I told him, don't preach to them and don't invite them to church. He says, what do you mean? I said, don't preach them and don't invite them. Fellowship with them. Let them see the changes that God has made in you. And when you're around them, speak words of affirmation, speak life into their life. So that's what I would say. Number one, pray. Number two, don't give up on your child. Continue to believe there's hope for them. Fellowship with them. Don't preach to them. And then the other thing is believe that there's going to be a moment where they want to open up and ask for help. The last thing that I want to say is that there is a reason they're out drinking, and there is a reason. There's something that is happening in them, and they're trying either to self-medicate, they're trying to resolve something that is a wound, a hurt. Either you or someone them hurt them, or they might feel guilty of things that they've done themselves. So please know that whatever your child is doing is simply the tip of the iceberg of what's happening in their soul. So it takes a lot of conversations to get those things out. So talk to them, love on them.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Not only that, but doing this series with us. I hope and I pray that it's encouraging a lot of families and a lot of parents to change the way that we do family, to change the way that we are interacting with each other, with our kids. Any last words or encouragements?
I want to thank each and every one of you that are part of New Life. Thank you for those that sent us the questions. It says a lot about you. So, hey, continue to make time and effort and to be consistent to sit down with your kids, even if they don't want to. You've already heard, dude, it took my family about a year, wanted to participate. So don't give up hope. Be loving, be patient, and be consistent, but ask your kids the 3 questions. And if they don't want to talk, when you talk and you give them words of affirmation, you speak words of life, speak positive things about them, even when they don't want to talk.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for watching this. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to our New Life channel. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments, do you have any other questions? Maybe one of the things that really helps you. We'll put an email here if you have any other questions. We'd like to do another video. I think Pastor will give us another chance later in the series to ask more questions, but keep asking questions, keep leaning in, keep doing the awkward, keep trying to change the culture in your family. We'll see you guys on Sunday or next time.